So today we are moving to a very important portion, or we can say an important unit. That's the third unit, Abhignana Shagundala, a textual analysis. It's a textual analysis. So this Abhignana Shagundala, this drama was written by Kalidasa, and we know that it's an extract from the Mahabharata, and also we know that the story has been changed a little bit by the author that we know that we have already studied. So we are going to do a textual analysis. What do you mean by textual analysis? It's a careful examining and interpreting of a text. So textual analysis means careful examining and interpreting of a text like a poem, story, or a passage. So this is the third unit. We are moving a bit faster. We have to cover the entire portion. So this paper, this is Indian classical literature. So this is Indian classical literature, and this is block one. And you have block two, block three, block four, and we have other papers also. So much to cover. Whenever you have free time, or whenever yeah, even though you don't understand, you just try to keep on reading. You just keep on reading, so you will get some idea. There are classes, especially if you search in YouTube from the official website. The people like I mean, there are so many YouTube videos, but most of the YouTube videos are focused upon the examination. So, but for you guys, I would always say you should watch videos that are. You should always try to watch videos that are from the official side, from the IGNOU itself, from either from the IGNOU or from the study centers. They will, some of the Zoom classes and other, they will record and they will upload it in the channel. So you try to watch that. That will give you a lot of information. It's not about, mugging up or just like by hearting something and writing it, but it's all about understanding and writing your own reflection. All that things really matter in your examination. So the structure will be objectives, introduction, summary, and yeah, summary of acts 1 to 4, 5 to 8, then the theme, finally summing up and checking your progress. Objectives. In this unit, we will be analyzing the test or the play Abhignana Shagundala critically. So we are going to analyze the text. We are going to analyze. What do you mean by critically? You'll be asking a lot of questions. You will be, digging deeper. It's not like you just, sometimes we used to say, yeah, in a story there are no questions. The parents used to tell children stories, and sometimes when we listen, it doesn't make any sense, and nobody wants to make any sense. Some of the movies are like that, the hero can stop the train, or the hero can run and jump up on a aeroplane, or anything can happen, right? And is that anything is it anyway going to be true? No man can stop an aeroplane, or no man can stop a train. We all know that, but it's just a movie, and nobody will say okay how it happened, because nobody wants it to be real. So some people do say okay, there should be it should be something like whatever they do, it should create some sense according to the science, but apart from that, nobody expects it to be really true. So but we are going to critically evaluate whatever we are going to evaluate the play Abhignana Shagundala. So in this unit, we will be analyzing the text Abhignana Shagundala critically. We will begin with a brief explanation on how to read the play. So first of all, we will be looking upon how we have to read the play. This will help us to understand the play and enjoy its full aesthetic appeal. So you should know how to read the play. If you don't know how to read the play, it won't really make much sense. Sometimes when you read some of the historical books, and some of maybe a poem or something or the other, you should know how to read it. If you do not know how to read it, it's like you're trying to read something like a Chinese or Japanese or some other language. It doesn't make any sense to you, or like you're listening something like that, and it won't make any sense to you, because it's your brain cannot comprehend, your brain cannot really take it in, because that language language is not what you have learned. In the same manner, when you don't know how to enjoy the play, or when you don't know how to read the play doesn't make any sense to you. So first of all, we have to learn how we have to read the play. So this will help us to understand the play and enjoy its full aesthetic appeal. So this play will help us to so now what we are going to learn will help us to understand the play, and also it will help us to enjoy it full aesthetic appeal. So we already studied the word aesthetic. It keep on coming again and again. What do you mean by aesthetic? Related to beauty or artistic senses. So this will help us to understand the play and enjoy its beauty or its artistic sense. This will be followed by a detailed summary of the 7 acts. In addition to this, we will also discuss the major themes and characters in the play. So in addition to this, we will discuss the major themes and characters in the play. Introduction. Abhinjana Shakuntala is one of the most well-known plays by Kalidasa. So you can begin by stating the same sentence on your examination. Abhinjana Shakuntala is one of the most well-known plays by Kalidasa. And we know that Kalidasa was a Sanskrit dramatist. As most of the Sanskrit dramas of his time, Kalidasa wrote a mixture of both classical Sanskrit spoken by the royals, godly figures, upper caste figures, and Prakrit consisting of different types of vernacular. And we have already discussed most of these plays were written in Sanskrit language, and the plays were mostly, enjoyed by the upper caste people, not by the lower caste people. And upper caste people mostly speak the Sanskrit language. So Kalidasa wrote in a mixture of both classical Sanskrit and Prakritic language. So classical Sanskrit was spoken by the royals, godly figures, upper caste people, and all of them. And the Prakritic language spoken by the common people, including women and children. What does this sentence say about the times? How does it strike you to find women and children clubbed together? Hold that thought. So there could be a thought coming to your mind by now. Are women and children, are they clubbed together or they considered together? Because by reading this itself, we understood that the women were not given an equal position as men. So the women could speak the Prakritic language, but the men can only speak the Sanskrit language, which is considered as the heavenly language. The title of the play, Abhignana Shakuntala, can be translated as the recognition of Shakuntala. So, Abhignana Shakuntala. So, that means recognition of Shakuntala. The title of the play, Abhignana Shakuntala, can be translated as the recognition of Shakuntala. The play, as stated in the earlier unit, is an extension of an episode from the Mahabharata. So, I already told you. So, this play, Abhignana Shakuntala, is an extension of an episode from the Mahabharata. So Kalidasa has taken the story from Mahabharata, and then he has made some changes in it. It's not exactly what is there in Mahabharata. The story has got changed when Kalidasa wrote it. So he made it into a drama. Wherein in the Mahabharata it was an epic. Kalidasa's profess. That means profess means PROWESS. Profess means exceptional skill or ability in a particular field. Exceptional skill or ability in a particular field. So Kalidasa's prowess as an exemplary dramatist can be seen in way he has lent complexity to the character. So how much complexity he has brought into his characters, by looking into that we understand how skilled he was. So as an author or as a writer, how skilled Kalidasa was, we can understood by looking upon the complexity of the characters. To Shakuntala and Dushyanta. So they are the one of the main characters, Shakuntala and Dushyanta, adding innovative elements. So these elements were not there; they were new elements. What were they? Such as the curse and the ring. So in the story, you'd have probably remember the ring, by the the Shakuntala losing the ring, and finally, so how the ring play a greater part, and how the curse is playing a greater part. So these two things, the curse and the ring, both enhance the rasa of karma or love, as well as making Dushyanta's character more appealing to the audience. So this makes the character more appealing to the audience. Furthermore, the ultimate union of the hero and the heroine does not occur in the royal palace of the king, but in the heavenly hermitage of Marika and Aditi. So you know that where the marriage happened, it was a Gandharva marriage, right? Yeah, it didn't happen in the court or in the anywhere else, but the king went for the king was in the forest, and there he came across this hermitage, and there he met Shakuntala, and there they got the marriage and all. So it didn't happen in the palace, and the okay, but in the heavenly hermitage of Marika and Aditi, years after the birth of their son. Thus, his retelling of Shakuntala is significantly different from its original source. So when you read the two stories, maybe you can read it from different sources of how I want you to write the differences. There's a question there. So if you come down, there's yeah. What is the difference between the Shakuntala episode in the Mahabharata and in Kalidasa's play? What is the difference between the Shakuntala episode in the Mahabharata and in Kalidasa's play? So what you need to do is you can refer other sources, and write down the differences and send it to me. So that is very, very important, and it's an important one. Please, without fail, please make sure you are sending that to me. So the retelling of Shakuntala is significantly different from its original source. The retelling of Shakuntala is significantly different from its original source. Kalidasa creates a heroic drama of a romantic nature. So Kalidasa creates a heroic drama of a romantic nature, endearing it to the audience of his day. And now readers beyond his time and place. So even though he wrote it for his own people or the people of that time, even to this day, people get fascinated by reading this work, right? So even though he wrote it at a time when it was long back, it survived the time. We can say it survived the time. So these all are good sentences for writing in the examination. So it survived the time. Even today we read it with a lot of interest. The longing and aches of a first love. The first love is always very, very important, right? We used to call it as a calf love, where people love without, where they have the first love at the early part of their life, and it always reminds with them the trials of love thwarted, the happiness at being reunited are emotions and feelings that everyone can identify it with. So these emotions, it's not only for the upper caste people, or it's not only for the lower caste people, nothing like that, right? The king feel loved, the poor people feel loved, the people in America, or people in Africa, or people in news, everywhere, these all are the feelings that everybody has. So the longing and aches of first love, the trials of love thwarted the problems happening. You know the story, right? Yeah, we already discussed the story of how the first love happened, and what's the problems happening within their love, the happiness, how they are getting reunited. So all emotions and feelings everyone can identify with. So it's not only for few people; it can be identified with everyone. However, one cannot deny how the drama is a reflection of particular socio-political and cultural ethos of his time. So, however, even though this is the case, no one can deny the drama is a reflection of a particular socio-political and cultural ethos of his time. One thing that we need to understand, see, these stories were or these dramas were written long back, right? It's been written long back. But when we read the drama, when we study the character, when we go through all that thing, we will also be able to understand the time, the time period, like how people behaved, what was the socio-political situations, what was the cultural ethos, all that can be learned when we study the drama. The very rejection of Shakuntala because of the loss of the token makes us question the position of women in his time. So, by reading or by studying this or by understanding, see, the king gave a ring, but she lost it. So, because of that, or just because of that, she was rejected by the king. So, the very rejection of Shakuntala because of the loss of the token, that makes a question, that gives us a question. Okay, what was the position of women at that time? Was it, was it like just for a ring she was rejected? So how women were treated at that time, notwithstanding the loss of memory? As Miss Caresi asked, does a love such as this really need a token of recognition? How can that be? So yeah, one thing that you need to understand, see, within the bracket, there is a line. It says, "Notwithstanding the loss of memory, there is a curse that Shakuntala received because when the Rishi came, when the Durvasa Rishi came, she didn't recognize him, and so curse factor is there. But apart from that, see the question asked by Mr. Akasi, what is here? What is, I don't know, he or she, but what is it asked? It's asking, does a love such as this, it's a love between a husband and a wife, right? So does a love such as this, do it really need a token of recognition? How can that be? So she or he can't understand such a greater love, how it just got lost, just because she couldn't present the ring. Dushyanta's unhappiness at his inability to have a son is a telling portrayal of the importance of son in carrying the name of the family forward. So there also another thing coming up, that is Dushyanta was unhappy because he was not able to have a son, and it's also giving us an idea about how sons were important, or how the boy or how the male children were important at that period. This happened long back, but even to this day, at many places, even in our nation, the women, the girls, or the girl babies are not really accepted. There were times when girls babies were not allowed to survive. They would be giving something, and the children get died, and all such things happened in our nation itself. So we need to understand, even though we have such a greater heritage and culture and everything, yeah, there are things which we have to change, we have to correct. So at that time, in the Kalidasa, sorry, in the Kalidasa's time itself, the son were given more privilege. So here it says Dushyanta was unhappy because he was not able to have a son. So it shows how sons were important, and out of the reason was the son carried the name of the family forward. The son carried the name of the family forward. Even in the depiction of the fisherman who finds the lost ring, Kalidasa shows the corrupt and brutal nature of the gods or soldiers or law enforcers who treat him unfairly and assume his guilt without any proof. So that one guy, that fisherman got the fisherman. She lost the ring in the water, and in a fish swallowed it, and a fisherman he caught the fish, and when he was opening it, he got the ring and he started to wear it without realizing, it was a royal ring or anything. And when the gods or when the soldiers saw, immediately, without doing proper interrogation, he was taken to the prison. So Kalidasa is also showing us the brutal nature, the corrupt nature, the brutal nature of the gods or the soldiers or the law enforcers who treated unfairly and assumed his guilt without any proof. So without any proof, he was taken to the prison. Such details help us to imagine the world of Shakuntala and Dushyanta with the clarity and nuances not available in the epic. So these all things were not in the epic, but it was all brought into the drama by Kalidasa. It was all brought to the play by Kalidasa. Such details help us to imagine the world of Shakuntala and Dushyanta with a clarity and nuance not available in the epic. Such smaller details were not available in the epic. The play is available to us in translation, which naturally begs the question of how well can be translated text. Okay, we have a, yeah. Okay, let's finish this much. The play is available to us in translation, which naturally begs the question of how well can be translated text embody the rasa or essence of the drama. The translation that we are using in the Penguin Classic series titled Kalidasa, The Loom of Time by Chandrarajan, published in 1989. The text is a beautiful rendering of the original drama, keeping in mind its literary and aesthetic quality. When we read the play, we are able to imagine the cool wooded grove where Dushyanta first meets Shakuntala. See how it's written here. Rippling beneath a passing breeze water flow in deep channels to lave the roots of trees. Smoke drifts up from oblations to the sacred fire to dim the soft sheen of tender leaf buds, free from firm fronds browse lazily in meadows, beyond where darba shoots are closely cropped. See, rippling beneath a passing breeze. So you know here talks about the wooded grove where Dushyanta is meeting Shakuntala. Rippling beneath a passing breeze, waters flow in deep channels to lave the roots of trees. Smoke drifts up from oblations to the sacred fire to dim the soft sheen of tender leaf buds, free from foam fawns browse lazily in meadows, beyond where darba shoots are closely cropped. Feel Shakuntala's crushing agony when she leaves the hermitage for the royal palace. Saying, rent from my dear father's lap like a sapling of the sandalwood tree uprooted from the side of the Malaya mountain. How can I survive in an alien soil? Whose agony is it? Shakuntala's agony. Huh? What is she telling? Rent from the dear father's lap like a sapling of the sandalwood tree, uprooted from the side of the Malaya mountain. How can I survive in an alien soil, in a foreign soil? And visualize the splendor of Indira's chariot as it travels in the sky. To enjoy the play, we must imagine as we read and keep in mind the fact that Sanskrit drama does not include dialogues but also includes subtle gestures. It's not only about the dialogue, it's also about the gestures and the postures, singing, dancing, miming. All these brings about a holistic performance and enjoyment of the narrative. Sometimes some people when they talk, even though they talk a lot of good thing, there won't be any body movement, right? So somebody used to say, yeah, you don't have to listen the video of his message. You just keep a photo of him and listen the audio, because he doesn't move anything. Just stay there and he just speak. So in the same manner, some people are like that, but some people when they talk, they used to give they shows a lot of actions, right? They change their posture, they do the hand action, so that gives us a that makes us interested to listen. Okay, so here again, so Sanskrit drama is not only about the dialogue, but it's also about the subtle gestures, postures, singing, dancing, miming. Okay, so all these bring an enjoyment of the narrative. For the sake of consistency, all spellings, reference, page numbers refer to follow the said edition. Said edition means from where it was taken. So, and I want you to answer this question and send me a note of it. So, what is the difference between Shakuntala episode in the Mahabharata and Kalidasa play? So, tomorrow we will discuss upon the summary and analysis. Okay. So, okay, and that's the end of today.